Am I the a-hole for yelling at my daughter knowing that her mom isn't here? I, 40M, have a daughter, Clara, 8F. My wife Jenna just recently passed away, and I've been struggling with it. These past few months, Clara has been really difficult to deal with. She often throws temper tantrums anytime we go out or whenever I ask her to do something. Yesterday night I was putting Clara to bed and she demanded I tuck her favorite teddy bear into bed like her mom does. I told her no and went to leave the room. She then got out of bed and started screaming and demanding I do it like mom and that she wanted her mom to do it and why she couldn't mom be here to do it. I lost my temper and screamed at her no and that her mom isn't here anymore and she needs to accept it and stop acting like a baby. I slammed her door and went down to the living room to cool off, and when I was heading to bed, I could hear her sobbing through the door, but I decided to just let her be. The morning I called my MILF to come take Claire off my hands for a while. As I was putting her suitcase in the trunk of my MILF's car, I noticed her favorite teddy bear wasn't there. I ran back into the house to go get it for her. I came back out and tried giving her the teddy bear, but she completely ignored me and wouldn't take it. Later, my neighbor Jim, 52M, came over and asked to borrow my lawnmower. I thought since he has kids himself, he would understand my point of view. He said what I did was a dumb move, and Clara is struggling too. I don't think Clara quite understands what's happening and is deciding to act out for the sake of doing so, but am I the a-hole for telling my friend it was too damn bad she was uncomfortable? I work as a kind of personal assistant / art handler and organizer to an individual with an extensive collection. It's an interesting job and I get a lot of opportunities for new experiences and invitations to events. My boss said I do not have the same tastes in art. He's an older, very traditional guy and that reflects in the events I get invited to. We have a world-famous opera in our city and I was gifted 2 tickets to the opera last weekend, with an invitation to attend a cocktail party in a private area. This was not a work event for me but still a networking opportunity and a gift from my boss's personal friend. My fiancée was visiting family so I invited my friend Sarah to join me. She arrived at my house Saturday afternoon to get ready with me. She had brought a dress to wear that I didn't think she should. It was very pretty but more like a club dress than an event dress, bright pink and very short. And our opera is known for a no dress code, just be fabulous approach so it was fine for the venue itself but I knew the pre-party was going to be an older, more traditional opera dress crowd. I wore a deep green floor-length dress, for reference. I offered her the option of choosing something out of my closet and told her that I thought she might be uncomfortable at the party because of the type of group they were but she wanted to wear that dress. At the party, most of the attendees didn't seem interested in engaging with her and while outwardly polite, it did feel like they were equally uncomfortable with her presence as she was being there. She stayed next to me the whole time which was fine but she was sullen and kept grabbing my arm to whisper in my ear that we should leave. After the 3rd time Sarah pulled me out of a conversation and told me she wanted us to leave the party, I got irritated and told her it was too damn bad that she was uncomfortable. I warned her. There's 2 bars out in the public area, she could go hang out there and I'd join her in an hour for the show but I couldn't leave yet without looking bad. I might not have been working but I accepted the invitation and now my behavior here reflects on my boss and that ultimately affects my job regardless of it not being officially work. Sarah stayed at the party instead and eventually it was over and we attended the show. She didn't speak to me at all on the drive home and texted me after I dropped her off that she was upset by the way I had treated her and that I should have left when she wanted. I think that's unfair. I talk about my job all the time and she knows very well what expectations are placed on me at these events and how I am expected to act. I tried to tell her but obviously I wasn't going to force her to change. But she's still mad and a mutual friend is guilting me for not caring. Am I the a-hole for kicking out my 22F friend, 21F, for demanding I pay rent for my apartment? My friend D and I have been living in the apartment my parents own for college. We split utility bills while she also pays $300 for rent. It's a 2-bedroom, living room, kitchen and 1.5 bathrooms in a nice area. $300 is not nearly how much rent for that place would cost under normal circumstance. Nevertheless, our parents are civil with each other so the massive discount was agreed upon on the premise that we split utility. I don't pay rent as my parents own it, but work and spend my own money for daily needs and groceries. Dee doesn't either. Her parents pay everything. For a year now, Dee has been inviting her college friend who I'll call A to study at our place, sometimes sleep over. A lives off campus but in a really dodgy area with her older brother and his friend. More than a month ago, Dee asked if A can stay over for a week. I told her no problem because I had a vacation set for that time. When I got back 9 days later, she was still at our place, so I asked Dee when A was going home, as I had planned for my friend to come over for the weekend. She told me A got into a fight with her brother and didn't want to be there RN. I was annoyed but I never found an issue with A so I just asked she leave until the end of the week. She didn't. 3 weeks passed and bills came in, which were almost double of what they were previously. I sat down Dee, gave her a rundown of the bills and she seemed surprised. She said I'm not paying that much. I looked at her and made a joke. Yeah, you're not, your dad is. Dee got angry and went into her room. I thought the joke didn't land well, so I knocked on her door to apologize, but I overheard Dee ranting how I don't even pay for anything, so I wouldn't understand why her parents are mad. I entered the room, told A to pick up her stuff and leave. She seemed embarrassed, but 20 minutes later she left. I asked Dee what she meant by that, and she said the bills are twice as much as last month's and Dad is going insane over why he has to pay this much when you even had a guest over. I told her she's a hypocrite if she thinks my friend staying over for a weekend affected the bills nearly as much as A living here for a month. She told me I'm heartless for blaming A, who was having a hard time, for the increased bills, and screamed I should contribute more to them. Then, she called her dad in the bathroom and demanded that I pay rent too because it's unfair. I told her she's insane if she thinks I'll pay rent in my own apartment and that she has until the start of the semester to find another place and move out. Dee started crying and throwing some towels on the ground. She did move out a few days ago. We haven't spoken since, but A texted me apologizing for burdening me. My parents told me it wasn't my decision to make, even though they agree. Am I the a-hole for how I, 37M, reacted to my son, 17M, coming out to me? So, I've always known my son had an interest in men. He was slow on the pickup of incognito mode, and from the searches he made, I figured he was at least bi-curious, if that's the proper term for it, since he hit puberty. Well, last year, he started bringing a boy around, and it was obvious they were dating, to the point I figured that he knew I knew, and it wasn't a big deal to anyone. Well, apparently, I was wrong. After school yesterday he and his boyfriend came up to me and said there was something really important they needed to tell me. My son said that they were dating and had been for a year. Well, I was surprised that he wasn't aware I knew and was a bit thrown off. My mouth moved faster than my brain and I said, well, that's pretty fucking gay. Now, I thought it was peak comedy, since it is in fact gay. However, I understand using the word gay in that way gives it a very negative undertone, hence the mouth faster than brain comment. Now my son and I are usually pretty edgy with our humor, this being fairly tame for the stuff we joke about. While probably not appropriate for the situation, it wasn't our norm for a conversation between us. However, he and his boyfriend were very, very upset and left. I'm probably the asshole, but I thought I would check and see if you all had some advice on what I can say to fix it. He currently won't respond to my texts or calls. Am I the a-hole for telling my brother it's pathetic that he can't do the basics of what his wife did? I love my sil and brother. They have 2 kids and my sil Rachel was a kinda a stay-at-home mom. She worked from home part-time but also took care of the kids, and all the chores. I was over multiple times and the house was spotless. Really, I thought she was just extra cleaning when she had guests, but no. When I had my kids she showed me her schedule. She would be up at 5 for meal prepping for the whole day. Like she never stopped, and a lot of her tips helped me with my own home. Now my brother lost his job and it was decided that Rachel would go back to work full-time and he would stay at home. The kids are in kindergarten and 1st grade. He has this on easy mode. I've been over to help sometimes since he just sucks at it. The house is always a mess, the kids are usually late to school. He asked me to drive them after the school talk to him. He doesn't cook, it just sad. He got in a huge argument with his wife since dinner wasn't done and she had to make it. He was ranting about how it's unfair and that he is trying. I told him it's pathetic he can't do the basic of what his wife did. He has 8 hours free and he can't keep the house clean. I told him she will divorce him if he doesn't stop being lazy and figure it out. He left after calling me a jerk and my mom is now on me for what I said. Thank you for the mac and cheese recipes.